The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Welcome to the Influencer's Edge. This is the place where you come to get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques to leapfrog over the pack in sales, persuasion, and influence. Be sure you visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, tune in, and enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Influencer's Edge. I really like today's guest. We had a brief chat in our virtual green room. I like him because he tells it like it is, and he's a military veteran. I always appreciate those who serve our country, as my father did, as I've spoken about in this show. He's a combat medic of World War II, fighting the Nazis. My guest today is Ernest Wood. Hello, Ernest.
Hey, Paul, how are you doing?
Ernest, would you tell us the truth today? Get it? Ernest Wood. Anyway,
I got you.
Ernest is a U.S. Navy veteran. Tell us about that. Were you on a ship?
I was on a submarine. I was a nuclear machinist mate on a sub.
Oh my God. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a submarine geek. I've seen every submarine movie out there. So you were on a boomer or an attack sub?
I was on a Trident, so the new version of the boomer, or a newer version.
Wow. Now, for those of you who are not geeks, that is 24 missiles. That is a continent destroyer. That is a fearsome war machine. You obviously have a top secret SCI clearance, or you did at the time, to be working on the reactor of that thing.
It was actually secret. We didn't have to go top secret for the nuke end of it because we weren't we weren't exposed to some of the stuff. But yeah, secret clearance.
Cool. I heard the chow on submarines is the one thing that they do right because it's the only thing to keep your morale up. Is that true?
Well, did you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
That the food on the subs is the best in the Navy because
Oh,
that's
the chow. We did have pretty good chow most of the time. We did go out one time where we were out a little longer than we were supposed to, and yeah, the food started to get really bad by the end of it.
all right.
That one was not a fun one.
We'll talk off the air more about that. I'm not letting you go. Okay. You are a veteran, an author. What's the name of your book?
Asshole to Awesome: A Journey to Joy and Happiness.
All right. Now, I was saying to you, what's wrong with being an asshole? Aren't some assholes awesome?
Um, well, it depends what movie you're watching. No, I'm just kidding. I like some being an asshole is like it's required in the world, right? Sometimes you have to what people might consider an asshole, but I guess my definition of what I was, it was just somebody that I didn't like seeing in the mirror. Like when I went
Well,
to the mirror, I did not enjoy the man that I saw. So I knew that I had to change to be happy for myself, right?
I do,
That
but
was
was that a sudden realization or was that a period of time where you had a little nagging feeling in the back of your heart that said something's wrong here? Or was it boom, some life event happened to you and you said, uh-oh, I'm out of whack here. How did the realization develop?
I I always had like moments in my life where I felt like, happy. Like when my kids were born, I was super happy. I enjoyed coaching them and things like that. But internally, I never felt truly happy about who I was because I could not accept myself for some of the mistakes that I made. I didn't forgive myself. I didn't forgive anybody. But the victim one, I didn't forgive myself. And then I didn't have gratitude for anything.
Oh,
And
right.
the more I got down the road, and I made plenty of errors for that lack of gratitude. That's actually how I ended up going into the Navy. Um, quick story on that. I ended up getting caught stealing some stuff from a place that I worked at. And the same week that I got caught, I found out I was going to be a father. So to change and get out of that environment, I decided to join the Navy. And that was one of the best things I ever did, which I didn't appreciate as much on the at the time. But just from then on, like I knew there was something in there that I needed to change to be able to be happy internally or emotionally for myself.
So many people do not appreciate the good things in their life. And I think gratitude, just to affirm, you don't need me to affirm it, but cultivating gratitude is so necessary because our minds are hardwired, our brains are hardwired to look for what's not working. And so it really is sort of pushing against the stream to have that practice. It's a beautiful thing. I agree with you. I'm sorry, I agree with you completely. All right, let's continue here. So let's talk about balance. A lot of people talk about work-life balance. I've seen some very successful people say, if you want to be super successful in business and really crush it, there's no work-life balance. Your work is your life, and it's a myth. I don't believe that, but on behalf of the audience, members of my audience who may think that, let me toss that back at you. First of all, what do you mean by work-life balance? And what would you say to people who say, in order to be super successful, you can't have that?
That's a fantastic question. And the way you put it is exactly what I've been arguing with people about since I've kind of started doing this journey is everybody, just about everybody, when I chat with them, when they're successful at a certain level, there's no way to be balanced, blah, 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 blah. But when I start chatting with them and I'm breaking it down, one gentleman had a fantastic broker firm for a house, buying houses going. He was the broker, but at that time where he was successful, he weighed almost 400 pounds, right?
Oh,
And he ended up in the hospital and he, bunch of health problems. Another gentleman, he has a bunch of businesses and he was working on his third divorce. So, uh, and and that's why I did it. It was because, man, all these guys are successful and they all believe the same thing, that there is no balance. But when you only use, like, I think a lot of people use the measurement of equal time as balance, right? And I agree with you there. Like if you're going to try to have equal time between your work, your life, your physical health, your mental health, and your family, you're probably not going to be in total balance. But if you create a nice foundation for yourself, say by communicating with your spouse and your kids, hey, look, this is my 5-year plan. I want you to be part of it. It's going to suck a few times. There's going to be hard road, but in 5 years, this is the plan. And with you having my back, this is what we can create. So now you have part of your foundation, right? Is your family. Now they're there for you. And then, and having the right habits.
pause. That's gold. That's gold. I did warn you. For
Yeah,
those of
no
you who
worries.
think I'm being rude
No worries.
to Ernest here, we did talk about that. You said having your family back you, having your family behind you. That's no easy task. So it just isn't. That's sort of like saying, well, in order to walk the tightrope, you just learn to balance on the tightrope and don't get distracted by the audience and don't think of anything else. It's not the easiest thing. What are some clues some techniques, some tips that you would tell your clients to get your family on your side when they're not necessarily the most supportive people. I mean, just speaking to you as someone who's been in his share of relationships, not all the people I've been with have been particularly supportive. So let me challenge you right there.
No, I appreciate that. And when I started on this little path, my wife did not appreciate it at first. And she was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, when are you going to go get a job? And I'm like, well, let me explain. Look, because I didn't communicate it to her. I said it, but I didn't actually like bring her into what the plan was. And then I broke it down for her and I actually included her in my whole plan and what it looks like. And when you can express it and hopefully they buy into it, but and this might be a bad some people might not like me saying this, but if you have somebody that can't buy into your dreams and can't have your back and that person is part of your life, then yeah, exactly. You might have to, you might have to be that rat that bites off its tail or whatever to free yourself, man.
Partner selection, selecting the right partner, business and or personal, is a do or die, make or break act. It just is. I have a niece who's been on my show, who's one of the most successful human beings I've ever met. And I've said, could you have gotten to this level of success without your partner? She's no way. And every person I've asked has said no way. So
I agree.
good for you. I wanted to bring that out. See, I told you I would challenge you and
Yeah.
ask these questions. All right. My phone is acting weird. I have everything stored on my phone here. Okay, so you got that. Balance is not just about time, creating the route foundation. In addition to having the people who love you, your family, being on your team, what are the other elements of a good foundation?
So I use physical health, mental health and legacy. Um, I believe physiology drives psychology. So I really focus in on creating good habits of sleep. 7 to 8 hours of sleep is vital. It's proven that only 1 in 12,000 people can live, with less than 7 hours of sleep and be productive. We can all live, but we're not going to operate at our optimized
No.
function, right? And then when you go with that, especially in today's world, there's a lack of movement. More than half of the people in today's world take less than 5,600 steps. And at like 5,500, 5,600 steps, there's all kinds of hormone, drops that we get an extra testosterone boost for men. We get a flushing of the cortisol. There's a serotonin boost. There's all kinds of little things that happen at just getting enough walks or steps. And so many of us, because we're behind this damn computer all day long or behind our desk, right? We don't get those steps in. And there's a lot of people that say sitting is like the new smoking. That's about
Yes.
how bad it is for
Yes.
your health.
Yeah. Being sedentary is a death sentence. It's just not a good thing to do. I know because I just got recovery from surgery. It was 10 days of almost 2 weeks of not being able to exercise. It was a horrific experience. Okay,
Yeah.
we got that. You said physical, you said mental, and then what was the third one?
Your legacy.
Talk about legacy. A lot of people talk about success, they talk about vision. I'm assuming legacy means what you leave behind, what you want to be remembered for, by the impact that ripples on after you shuffle off the mortal coil, take your last breath, join the gone and joined the choir invisible, rang down the curtain, kicked the bucket, croaked, etc.
Yeah. I use this, it's a eulogy. And I got this from Brian Johnson Heroic. It's a eulogy thing saying, so if you died and you were able to see your funeral, how many people would be there and what would they say about you? And by
Where's the
doing that,
jewelry?
huh?
Where's the jewelry?
And by doing that though, it just it opens your mind because it allows you to just separate yourself. And I did not like when I did that, I was like, that helped me so much change. And now, like every single day, I try to do an act of kindness. That is one thing that's like on my journaling. I try to do an act of kindness. So if you look at a lot of successful guys and women, they are philanthropists. They do give,
True.
but I, a lot of them, unfortunately, like sometimes their kids don't.
Are you there with me? You're frozen. You're frozen. Oh, we'll stop the recording.
Okay. So yeah, a lot of the times they're successful. You look in, and their kids don't even like who the parent. Um, and you can look, go through some of the billionaires, go through some of the millionaires, and see that their kids don't even respect the man or the mother that they are. And trying to fix that before you get to that spot is probably the better way of doing it. And again, that's just communication. Like my sons, I had a little hard spot with them because I was such a disciplinary dad. Like I didn't have a dad growing up, so I overdid it on the discipline side. I didn't allow them to make a mistake. I wasn't there a lot. I mean, I was there like to coach them. I worked a lot. I went to school. I did all this stuff, and I coached them. But they still like hold a little grudge that I wasn't there enough, or they didn't think that I had their back because, and in some ways, I didn't have their back because all I was just making sure that they didn't make a mistake. And I don't know if it was I didn't want them to make a mistake for themselves or because I wasn't going to be a good dad. I didn't know which way, honestly, I to go look back at that, I don't know why I was such a hard ass, besides not knowing what to do.
And maybe your military training also contributed to that. I mean, you have to have discipline. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to be disciplined in the military, and especially on a submarine where you could go cuckoo and there could be some bad consequences.
Well, I think I was a little cuckoo there for a while anyway. So
All right, I'll buy that. I'm sorry, my phone is acting. My apologies. Normally, I don't know why it's not saying unlocked. Okay. What are some practical strategies for achieving success at work without sacrificing your relationships or health? And I want you to gear this, if you could, Ernest, towards entrepreneurs, because a lot of my audience are entrepreneurs.
awesome. The couple little things that I have found is everybody needs a coach. If you're starting a business, get a coach that's been there, and to help you grow that business. Trying to do everything by yourself in today's world is absolutely insane. Um, I did it for a long time. I know a few people that tried it, and it makes it so much harder. Grab a coach, and also start with those fundamentals, right? If you are married right now or have kids, start with the communication to them. Let them know what your 5-year plan is. Let them know what your 1-year plan is. Also, get enough sleep so you can focus. I do this little thing. I block out my days by like 30-minute sessions. I actually do 28-minute sessions because that's what I found is my maximum time that I can actually stay 100% focused on anything. Everybody's going to have their own time. So I found 28 minutes is my max. I
Wow.
set I set my timer, and as soon as my timer goes off, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm writing a book or whatever, I stop. I get up, I move around, I do some push-ups, I do whatever, I go get some water, I hydrate, and I get so much more stuff done than sitting there for 2 to 3 hours trying to work for 3 hours straight. But breaking up your day and knowing what each half hour is going to be
That's
is
brilliant. That's brilliant. I've never heard of that before. I can usually go 50 minutes to an hour, then I need a 10-minute break. and I can do that for 3 hours, need a larger break, and then another three. That's brilliant. How did you learn that one?
That one was it was a little bit, I was starting to figure it out for myself because when I got into car sales after the power industry, I I did very well as a car sales guy, but I was having a hard time because they wanted everybody in this room. And I was like, man, everybody can't concentrate for that long. So I started picking it apart. And then I took a coaching course with Brian Johnson, his heroic app, and they talk about it in there. He does like a different time, but everybody has their own time. So when I got to be a team lead, I figured out what my average was for my team, and I set them up on that kind of work schedule. And those 5 guys ended up being in the top 7 out of the 6 months, 4 of the 6 months that I was there, because you can't multitask. Multitasking is a total bullshit. Myth. It doesn't happen. You can't do it. And switching between emailing and texting, you lose like 45 seconds between each switch because your brain has to do the full,
I agree.
Yeah. And it's works so good. That is one thing, like if you can dial that in, you can change absolutely your whole workday and your life by getting more crap done.
Getting more crap done. I love it. All right. I agree with you about coaching. I'm assuming you offer coaching. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So right now, my coaching, I coach high achieving men to have balance in their life. And I have a couple coaches myself right now helping me get the business totally up and running. It's been a long process of getting your name out there because, branding is everything in today's world, right? And without that brand, it's hard to attract people. I have a few clients.
You froze again.
Did I freeze again?
You're fine. You have a few clients then.
Yeah. So I have a few clients from word of mouth, but to grow a business, you need a team around you or a coach. So I have a couple of coaches myself. And again, my coaching is.
Freeze.
What's up?
Come on. You keep freezing.
God.
Let's do it this way. Tracy, edit that freeze, and we'll do it like this. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, did you drop me or?
No, I didn't do anything. No, I'm with you.
Okay, hold on one sec. There I am.
All right, Ernest, I know our audience is going to want to stay in the conversation with you. So what's the best way to do that?
The best way to get a hold of me is ernestwood.com. You can actually download a free copy of my book right there and book a call with me. We can have a chat and see if I'm right for you and you're right for me. And then we can move on from there. It's not one of those things that you're going to like dread. We just go in and dive and then pick up and find what you're doing well and some of the little habits that we can remove. It's not one of those processes. Hey, I want you to change your entire freaking life today. We make baby changes and we make changes that will stick and make them habits. And that is huge. Making things habits and making your morning and your day an algorithm instead of not knowing what the hell you're doing from time to time.
I love it. All right, stay on with me in the green room because I want to have a little chat with you and prize some secrets out of you. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to the Influencer's Edge. We'll see you on the next episode. The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Thank you for tuning in to the Influencer's Edge, where you get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques so you can leapfrog over the pack at sales, influence, and persuasion. Remember to visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com to enjoy even more great episodes like this one. We look forward to seeing you again on the Influencer's Edge Show.